there's so much suffering and
Go away.
there's so much suffering in the world, there's so much pain, there's so much war, there's so much fight. And I'm not talking only about on a global level, but on between countries, but even in the smallest things like our families, our relationship with our parents. There's fight, there's distance, we want certain things to be a certain way, we think we need to be a certain way. And so all of us are in suffering because we think things should be different than they are, and thereby we're creating this suffering. And it's an erroneous thinking of the mind. It's like we are trapped in the mind, and then in addition to it, we live in this material time where we focus on everything outside of us, like what we have, what people think of us, the power we have, how we look, whether we are right. It's all about polarization, and all of that creates suffering within us. Even if we're right, even if we're the most powerful person, we're not in peace. And peace is here right now for every one of us, every 8 billion people on Earth. And the only thing it needs is that we move out of this idea that it's all about me and realizing we're all in this together. Even if I have everything and no one else has nothing, I suffer because we are here to commune together, to live together, to help each other. And the suffering is here for a reason, and the pain, because what we need to learn is that this is not the way. So this is forcing us to transform, and we are struggling in this process. And this is why even in the year 2023, the world seems sometimes like everything is collapsing and it's getting worse, when actually we live in the most affluent, the most beautiful, we could live in the most beautiful times. And so all what we need is to realize that this body and my mind and who I think I am is a temporary vessel that I'm using to learn and grow and expand. So my whole purpose in life is to learn, grow and expand, and ultimately find back to love, because this is what we all are. Consciousness, love, God, whatever you want to call it. There's different words, whether you look at it from a scientific point of view or from a spiritual point of view, but it's all the same. And we have forgotten it. We got so lost. But in a way, we had to get lost to remember what we are. And the experience we're creating here, or we have created here, is about remembering who I am. And when I remember who I am, I live a very different life, because I realize the paradise, the peace that I'm seeking, it's here. It was always here. I was just in my mind. I was just like, I want things to be different. It's a bit like when it rains and I want sunshine, I suffer. But what's wrong with the rain? So it's about appreciating every moment and being, I'm talking too much. We are pure consciousness, experiencing ourselves through our bodies in its time-space continuum. And the only problem in the world, the problem is not climate change, the problem is not poverty, the problem is not war and conflict. These are just symptoms of the problem. The problem is a lack of consciousness, an absence of consciousness, a lack of understanding who we truly are. Because we are pure consciousness, experiencing ourselves through different human bodies. And when we remember who we truly are, then all the barriers, all the separation between us gets dissolved. Because I realize I'm everything. I'm just experiencing myself through Vincent. When I say I mean capital I, not I, Vincent, but I as the consciousness. And so, but we needed to experience ourselves. We need to experience ourselves through these limited versions of ourselves, like my ego, to realize what I am. Because only by understanding what I'm not, I can understand what I am. You can think of it like when there's only light. It's like a fish in the water. There's only water, then what is water? So when there's only light and love, which is what we really are, then I don't know what it is. So I have to create the absence of light, which is darkness, to understand. And this is the world we play in. It's polarities. There's like what we believe is good or bad or beautiful and ugly, but it all just is. And it all just serves our understanding that this idea that you and I are different is an illusion. It's, yes, I'm experiencing myself through Vincent. I have this body that is separate from your body, but in the end, it's just a temporary experience. And then at the end of my life, I leave my body again and I become a soul again. Or I am always the soul, but I experience myself as a pure soul again, without a body and without time and space. And now if that all sounds crazy, I was a banker, I was an atheist, I didn't believe anything, science. But yeah, there were so many steps where I realized I had to question everything, because the way we think, all the suffering, like why, for what? Like I'm never happy, I always need more. And when you have an experience like the one we have created here, that all changes, because you realize it is not what you think. You are not what you think you are. I am not what I think I am, because I am more than what thinking. Even my thinking is a creation of my higher self. And when I have this experience, then it reshuffles my understanding of life. I suddenly look from the top of the mountain rather than at the bottom. And so all the drama that is in my life, it kind of dissolves in a sense of like there's a higher story unfolding. And as humanity, we are really in the process of awakening, and things that we've experienced over the last couple of years, with all the adversity of the pandemic and the lockdowns, etc., they all force us to question the way we operate and live in the world, and to realize, oh, this is all erroneous thinking. We have a misunderstanding because we are living through the mind. We are walking in our head, so to speak, when we are actually meant to kind of fully embrace our experience without judging it, just by experiencing it. And the more we allow ourselves to flow, the more beautiful life becomes. When I stop thinking it has to be that way, and I'm just like, wow, it is this way, and now I can take a step and make a change. But right now it is this way, and it's perfect because it needs to be this way for me to make the change that's coming next. Everything is a gift in life, even though it might not feel it is. And it came to the extreme, like war, all of these things, they're ultimately gifts from a soul level perspective that help us to awake. Pain is a tool of transformation, and while we don't need pain, if we don't change, we experience pain. So we are forced to change. We experience suffering, but it's becoming worse, and so we are waking up in that process, and that is the ultimate gift, because the next step in human evolution is not AI or the singularity, us merging with machines. The next real step and the biggest step we have ever taken in the existence of humanity is waking up.